What's up, YouTube? This is Dismal here, bringing you a new deck profile. But first things first, look at this awesome mat that I've got. Yes, yet another new mat. I think this makes like mat number 6 that I have altogether. It's awesome. Pretty happy about it. But enough about that. We'll go ahead and bust into this awesome deck profile I've got for you guys today. It's going to be one that's for sale/trade. It does have a nice extra deck. Not extensive, but pretty decent. But let's get into it. This is, in case you haven't read the deck title, it's Jurrac Igknights. This is Dinosaur Warriors. Okay. So, first part of the deck, we have the Jurracs. So we start off with 3 of Jurrac Aeolo. He's a tuner, he's level 1, and you can tribute him from the field to special summon any level 4 or lower Jurrac monster from your graveyard. So this allows you to do lots of level manipulation plays. This allows you to do a lot of like different level range synchro plays. It lets you get back monsters that you've lost from your opponent destroying them that you like. It gives you better tribute fodder. It's pretty nice. So I really like it at 3, and I think it's pretty necessary at 3 for this deck anyways. Next card is 2 Jurrac Storico. What happens with him is when he gets destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, well, actually he doesn't have to go to the graveyard. Just when he's destroyed by battle, you get to special summon 2 Jurrac tokens in defense position, and they can't be tributed for a tribute summon unless it's for a Jurrac monster. That's really good. It leaves you floaters, and you know, when he gets destroyed, you can normal summon an Aeolo next turn, and you know, do some derpy plays with the tokens because they're level 1. So you could do a Formula Synchron play. You could easily make this an Igknight Jurrac Quasar deck by adding in rekindling and stuff. Like it's really interesting. Like, this deck has a really good base, and if you expand upon it, it's really got a lot of potential in my opinion. I put 1 Jurrac Galem in here, level 2 tuner, and when he gets destroyed by battle, you destroy your opponent's monster that destroyed it by battle, and the only downside to it is that your opponent can discard a card to negate the effect. But they still have to lose a card, so if they have to ditch a pendulum, they're still losing a pendulum monster, and it hurts. I put in 1 Jurrac Terra in here because whenever you run into something, sometimes you come across things that can't be destroyed by battle, and if you run into something with this and you take and hit your opponent's monster, it sends it back to the hand after damage calculation, and this card gains defense equal to the return level of the monster times 100. So it's pretty good, and it's a non-tuner, so it's good for the synchro ability of the deck. Next card is 1 Jurrac Brachus. It's a level 3 tuner, and as long as you have another Jurrac monster on the field with a different name, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Next card, 1 Jurrac Monolith. It's a dinosaur tuner. It's level 3, and he's not too beefy. He's only 1500, but he can attack every monster your opponent controls. So like Magispectors, he's stronger than like pretty much every Magispector, and if you need to, you can just swing over all the Magispectors and then like attack a cube because you would have to crash into it. But losing him is not a problem. We have other cards to recycle him. Next card up is 1 Jurrac Dino. During the end phase, if he destroyed an opponent's monster by a battle, you can tribute a Jurrac monster to draw 2 cards. So with Dino, that gives you more draw power, so this will get you to your Ignites and stuff faster, your other Jurrac monsters that you want to see. Next card is the level 4 Jurrac Protops. He's got 1700 attack, so he's one of your beaters in this deck, and he gains 100 attack for each monster your opponent controls. So this can get up to be upwards of 2200 when you go up against like pendulums and stuff. And it's pretty hard for pendulum decks unless they've got their XYZs out to get over it. The next card in here is actually a favorite of mine. It's a level 6. It's Jurrac Hera, And it's got a lot of synergy with the deck because there's a whole bunch of Ignites that are level 6, so you get to make rank 6s and stuff, XYZ plays, like crazy with this deck. So like Photon Strike Bouncer, or anything like that, number 58 or whatever I think it is, Force Focus, that's one that's really good, that's a level 6 for this deck. But Jurrac Hera, when you have a defense position Jurrac monster that gets destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon him from your hand or graveyard. So if you're losing like your Stariko and getting tokens, you get him plus tokens, and then you can make some crazy synchro / XYZ plays on the next turn. Last two Jurrac monsters. One is Jurrac Tyrannus. You can tribute a dinosaur type monster to make him gain 500 attack, and if he destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, he gains 300 attack. He's your level 7, and the other level 7 is a Jurrac Spinos. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, special summon a Spinos token to your opponent's side of the field. So this gives your opponent a token, and this gives you something to run over with your Jurrac Monoloth. You keep putting tokens on it with your Spinos, keep smacking all your opponent's monsters with your Monoloth, and doing more damage. So that's it for the Jurrac monsters. Now, for the rest of the deck, it revolves around pendulums, penduluming out like your Jurrac monsters and whatnot. So we use pretty much, I guess you could call it, the Igknight engine. But this is the poor man's Igknight engine. So we're going with 2 Igknight veterans because they're your high scale. They're one of your high scales, they're scale 7, and they're level 6. So they're a lot of synergy with the other stuff in here, you know, especially like the extra deck, being able to synchro and then use them for XYZs as your level manipulation is something really nice. Every Igknight has the same pendulum effect, that you destroy your other Igknight. Pretty much all Igknights have the same effect, that you destroy your other Igknight in your other zone and get another one from your deck to your hand. So this helps you manipulate your scales. If you have 2 high scales like this other one, Igknight Squire, that you would have in your deck, which is also a scale of 7, you can trade them out for the next 3 that are in here. Igknight Paladin, which is scale of 2. Igknight Cavalier, which is also a scale of 2. And Igknight Gallant, which is also a scale of 2. This is level 4, a level 5, and a level 6. So you've got a lot of range here for your XYZs and synchro plays also. Having these out on the field gives you a lot of advantage, especially being able to recycle them because of the fact that they are pendulums. And then we have 2 more low scales for the deck, just because I felt like it needed a lot of low scales just in case. So I put 1 Performapal Camelump in here. I think this card is really overlooked. During your main phase, you can target a face-up monster you control, and the monsters your opponent controls lose 800 defense until the end phase of the turn, and if they do, if the targeted monster attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts piercing, so it gives your monster piercing. So this gives one of your heavy XYZs piercing, or your big synchros piercing, makes their stuff weaker, and makes you do more damage. Performage Mirror Conductor, you can target a face-up special summon monster on the field, and its attack and defense become equal to its current attack or defense, which ever is lower until the end of the turn, even if the card leaves the field. And then the other effect is you can pay 500 to swap the attack and defense of any monster on the field. Next up is 1 Performage Hat Tricker, we all know what they do, and 1 Performage Trick Clown. You need them, they're good. They do help out a lot with the XYZs and even the synchro plays, yes. So that's all for the monsters. We have quite a few spells in here and even a few traps. First spell card up, 1 Sacred Sword of 7 stars, because if you don't really like the aspect of tribute summoning and playing and using the high level Ignites, or high level Jurracs, I'm sorry, you can just banish them off and use them for draw power. Pendulum decks are running rampant, and even destroying your own Pendulum Zone is good. So 3 Mystical Space Typhoons to, I guess, refill up your Pendulum Zone and get you more resources to use. The next card on that aspect is 1 Wavering Eyes, just because it destroys, pendulum scales, and if you get 4 of it off, pretty much you win the game. It's hard if you're going against a pendulum deck anyway. It's hard for your opponent to come back from that. Also using 1 Scapegoat, because this is a token style deck, so you make tokens and keep them as your defense while you're waiting for your Ignites to keep blowing up and making your big beater monsters. So Scapegoat, putting you 4 tokens out there, can save your life. 1 Forbidden Dress in here. This has a lot of synergy with like Jurrac Monoloth and everything like that. And Jurrac Dino, I like that. I like using it with Jurrac Dino. The next cards, Terraforming, to search out 2 copies of the field spell Ignition Phoenix. It basically just, all your Ignite monsters gain 300 attack and defense, and once per turn you can target an Ignite monster you control and destroy it, or an Ignite card you control and destroy it. So this helps for your Pendulum Zones, and if you do, you get to add another Ignite card from your deck to your hand. So it's basically an Ignite's Pendulum effect in a spell card. Next, 1 Book of Moon, just for the extra defense and to, even save your own small things when someone is going to attack into it or something. That's good. And the last spell card is 1 Reinforcement of the Army, because it's limited to 1, and you would just use this to get your scales. And onto the traps, we're using 5 traps, using 2 Powerful Rebirths. This gets you a level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard back, and special summon it, and it gets to increase its level by 1 and attack and defense by 100. So this helps you again with the level manipulation for XYZs and synchros. 1 Torrential Tribute, because everybody hates XYZs. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole for the same reason, it hurts XYZs bad. And Compulsory Evacuation Device. This will mess up the pendulums, and this will smack back the XYZs. So that's all for the main deck. On to the extra deck. It's not really super extensive, but it is a decent extra deck, so I'll tell you the price of it at the end of the video. Using 1 Grenosaurus, this will get you some extra burn damage on your opponent when you destroy a monster, because you do have lots of level 3s in here, so you can overlay. We have 1 Celestial Wolflord Blue Sirius. When it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to target a monster your opponent controls, and it loses 2400 attack. That's a permanent attack loss. Next card is 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Conqueruda. This is because you have lots of tokens, and it makes tokens you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. If this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you contribute all tokens you control and target 1 level 4 or lower Mecha Phantom Beast. Blah blah blah. The second effect doesn't matter. This saves your tokens. And the last card is 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. This will help out a lot with your pendulums, in your pendulum zones, and just overall a really good card. So, finishing off the deck with this, I'll say I'm trying to get $15 for it if anyone buys it cash, and if I'm trading with it, I value it around like $18 for trades. It's a really good deck. I've been play testing with it on Yugioh Pro, just this version, and going up against some stuff, and it's got a pretty good matchup against like budget Pepe and stuff like that. It's not quite on there because it's a short extra deck. I've been playing it with this, but with the right extra deck, it can be really, really deadly, I believe, because when I play it, I see a lot of plays. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in it, leave a comment or message me. That's cool. And as always, I hope you enjoy my videos. Subscribe for more. I appreciate the support, and have a great one.